Hello, everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you is having a fantastic day wherever we are around the world. Welcome back to the Cup Council. Hopefully, everyone's good. Hopefully, everyone's well. And welcome back to yet more Liverpool news for you guys. Of course, we was live earlier on talking about Jarell Quansah and his potential move to Bayer Leverkusen. But we're not only going to discuss about him tonight. Of course, we're going to talk about Alexander Isak and, of course, the deal that. Is it impossible or is it a real possibility that Liverpool could end up signing Alexander Isak this summer? I think it is relying awfully on a lot of things to happen, especially the incomings for Newcastle as well. But we will discuss a few things in tonight's episode. Of course, we'll talk about Florian Wirtz and his medical. As we know so far, he is having his medical, I should say, as of things right now. Of course, he's doing the first part, I believe, tonight, and then tomorrow he will be completing his move for Liverpool. So hopefully, we should have the confirmation fully tomorrow from the football club, but we'll discuss that a bit later on. But we are going to discuss and, of course, talk to begin the show about Jarell Quansah and Marc Guehi, because that has been the main talking point of the last few hours. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below as well. Go away, Luke. So say hello. Yusuf just told me he failed his medical. He tripped over a cable. Yeah, go away, Luke. Could you imagine that actually happened? Like, that was a reason why somebody failed their medical. That would be quite not hilarious for Liverpool, because, again, not signing Florian Wirtz would be disastrous as of right now, of course. But still, it's a very to go away. Just go away in the chat. But you can't. You don't know who it is either way. But look, anyway, we will move on and talk about Jarell Quansah then now. If you guys missed it earlier on, of course, I'm taking obviously the paragraph in this from Fabrizio Romano, but it does say Jarell Quansah has verbally agreed personal terms with Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer and Liverpool are closing in on a permanent deal and understand it will be worth £30 million plus add-ons, which could take it up beyond 40 million. But I say beyond 40 million pounds. Again, David Ornstein also putting on it that, according to his news, it's 40 million euros. I don't know whether or not that's including add-ons as of yet, but it's that sense of it's going to be around that fee, really, is between 34 million pounds, which again for Jarell Quansah I think is a very, very good move for him. He'll be the main starter now for Bayer Leverkusen. He's going to be getting a lot of game time, and will probably now be their main starter. You would probably think, as you guys can see on screen there, as from David Ornstein, saying that Bayer Leverkusen close to agreement with Liverpool to sign Jarell Quansah. No formal bid from Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool yet, but talks progressing towards the deal being done for north of 40 million euros. Personal terms for the 22-year-old seen as no issue as well, which again, I think everybody has said, haven't they, that we expected this or expected some sort of movement with Jarell Quansah, whether or not, of course, he was going to stay in the Premier League or go abroad and play in the Bundesliga. I think for his overall career, I think it'll be a very good move for him. Of course, with the World Cup coming up as well, he'll definitely be wanting to be on that plane to America. And I think overall, it's a very, very good deal for Liverpool. You're getting, a fee that's respectable, really. Again, 40 million euros, which, let's say it is 34 million pounds for a player that's, been in your team or your squad for 2 years, as well. Of course, had one really good, amazing season. And then, of course, the other season, it hasn't really worked out, has it? And since then, it's kind of been what's the right word? A catch up then, really, due to Jarell Quansah not being a favorite at all towards Arne Slot, and again, what's kind of been the problem there? And I think it's mainly due to confidence. I think certainly we've seen with players throughout the years where certain individual players have really relied on confidence, and of course playing games week in, week out. And I think that for me, Jarell Quansah needs that, and we've seen it at times when he first broke through, where all right, you could argue that maybe it was one of these situations where, again, trying to impress and trying to, make your way into the team. But Jarell Quansah, when he first broke through, was really striving to be playing alongside Virgil van Dijk and being the main guy for Liverpool to be alongside Virgil. But of course, that the whole preseason, leading up to Arne Slot's first season, I think everybody thought that Jarell Quansah was going to be the guy alongside Virgil, playing ahead of Ibu Konate. And then that 45 minutes happened against Ipswich, where, look, Arne Slot was very honest and very brutal that Jarell Quansah was not winning enough duels, which wasn't allowing Liverpool to, of course, progress the ball better off. And, again, just an overall, not a absolute shocking performance, but again, it could have been better, and this is why we brought on Ibu, and it made the difference in the second half. We cruised to a 2-0 lead, and that really, paved the way, really, wasn't it? Because that partnership between Virgil van Dijk and Ibu Konate, look, for me, I think throughout the season, it was very much the case of this isn't going to change. And I think on a overall perspective, for me, there's, unless we are talking about world-class defenders, that partnership isn't getting broken up anytime soon. And I think for Jarell Quansah, he wants to be playing more regular football. I said it to you guys, throughout last season, that for me, I think a loan deal was on the cards for Jarell Quansah. But of course, with us going and get Florian Wirtz, the whole conversation was around, potentially another player going the other way, with Harvey Elliott and Jarell Quansah being those two names being involved. But I look at it and go, it's a fantastic move for him, because again, he's going to be playing now week in, week out for Bayer Leverkusen in a very competitive league in the Bundesliga as well. So look, I think it's a very good move for him, and look, Liverpool are getting a very good price tag, because again, I don't think we could have got more for him. Maybe we could have overall gone over the 40 mil mark potentially, but I think on a respectful level, I think we could be happy with that type of price then, really. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts. Anyway, but Luke says, have a good show. Jesus Christ. Big up Andrew as well, saying, I heard the centre-back, because he's homegrown, who we sold to Bayern, to count to a 65 instead of 35. What do you mean by that? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But of course, the question mark now will go to who's going to replace him. Who's going to take over Jarell Quansah's spot in the Liverpool squad. And it looks like it will be Marc Guehi, because look, it does look like Liverpool are going to go ahead with signing Marc Guehi, which, look, I think is an absolutely fantastic signing. If we are going to go from it, again, plenty of experience in the Premier League already, like we mentioned earlier on, which, like, for me, I think it's a very, very, very smart business move from Liverpool, which, again, he's only got 1 year left on his contract, sorry. So again, he's going to be up there and competing, I would say, as well, with first team football. Now, Dave O.C. Cobb earlier on today was the first reporter, or the first guy to report on Marc Guehi news, of course, as you guys can see over there from an exclusive. Marc Guehi is high on the list of potential centre-backs signings this summer for Liverpool. Numerous discussions have taken place. Liverpool could make a move for Guehi, who has 1 year left on his current contract, which again is fantastic news to hear. Again, we're talking around probably the same price point that Jarell Quansah has been sold for. I think we are realistically looking around 35 million pounds for him. It could possibly go to 40 million pounds, but again, I think it's an overall perspective of Liverpool are trying to find market opportunities. I think Marc Guehi is that. Again, for a third choice centre half that's going to compete alongside Ibu Konate and potentially again replace Virgil van Dijk now and again in certain games. Again, you're getting a player that's an England international who at the minute is probably the number one English centre half. You would probably argue with that. Again, though, it's that sense of the Premier League quality you are signing. And it's not just the fact that Liverpool the only team going for him. Of course, there are multiple Premier League teams going for him. There's Newcastle, there's Tottenham. Again, I think even Manchester United have been spoken about in the past as well. So, like Marc Guehi is being spoke about, as a high level, but again, you've got Lewis Steele as well earlier on today saying that Marc Guehi could become a contender as an option at centre-half for Liverpool. Paul Joyce as well earlier on saying Liverpool hold a strong interest in Marc Guehi as Leverkusen step up pursuit for Jarell Quansah. And just before we were going to come on air as well, I'm going to paragraph this from Anfield Sector so you guys can see as well. So there we go. So from Chris Bascom as well, also coming out and saying that breaking Liverpool are expected to make a significant offer for Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi, having moved swiftly to raise funds with the sale of Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen. So what are we talking about? For me, significant fee seems like a price tag that, again, they're not going to turn down, really, which again would be around 35-40 million pounds. Which, look, I think that's an understandable offer. 1 year left on his contract. I think, was it in January, or the January transfer window? I think they did reject a 70 million pound bid for him. But again, I think context in that is very crucial because Spurs did literally put in a bid for him. I think was it like a couple of hours into the transfer deadline day in January, which of course Crystal Palace are never going to accept that type of deal unless it's for ridiculous money, well beyond the whole 70 plus million pounds that was spoken about as well. But that's not all we have for Chris Bascom and Marc Guehi, as it does say up there as well from Chris Bascom, saying that there has been no formal offer as of yet for Guehi, but it now looks like Liverpool are in the best position to do a deal from among those who want to sign him. He will be sold by Palace this summer, with just a single year left on his contract and no prospect of a renewal either. So look, for me, I think Marc Guehi to Liverpool is a nailed-on thing. I think it's a really good thing to have as well. Look, we are selling Jarell Quansah of 22 year age for a 24-year-old Marc Guehi who has a lot of experience. And I think with this signing, it's also a sense of Liverpool are signing quality once again, because like I said, just now, you're signing a player who has plenty of Premier League experience, was England's best player in the last European Championship as well. And for me, that's a big thing, really, especially when you're also competing alongside an Ibu Konate, alongside a Virgil van Dijk, who, again, Marc Guehi will learn from. Of course, Liverpool, Liverpool would have signed Dean Huijsen if Dean Huijsen had agreed to join Liverpool. We possibly wouldn't have signed Marc Guehi, but I think you could get a lot worse for the price point as well, which again I think is a really, really, really good price for a top quality centre half, really. So look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. But look, I think for me personally, I think it's a very, very good signing, a very smart signing from us. And look, Marc Guehi to Liverpool has a real prospect around it. Again, price point, I think we're looking at 35 million pounds for me personally, anyway. But Andrew says PSR. I thought, right now I don't know what you mean. But yeah, true. That is very, very true for Quansah, obviously with PSR as well. Big up CJ as well, saying, when will the video come out of Wirtz signing the contract and being interviewed? Do you think and pick up as well? It'll be tomorrow. Obviously we'll talk about Wirtz in a moment, but they will be well, if it's true that he's having his medical now or starting the first part now, you most likely think we may have it 6 p.m. tomorrow or 5 p.m. tomorrow with the news. But 100%, I think it's already been pretty much confirmed. We will have a deal confirmed tomorrow with Florian Wirtz, and of course Liverpool will try and make a very big deal on it, which again I think everybody has to be prepared for as well anyway. But big up Justin as well, saying I'm still concerned. Sorry, with Kirk's deal. When is his medical? Well, the deal's not done yet, really. But as far as we know, the Kirk's deal, it's just waiting for some legal stuff, as far as we know at the moment. But hopefully, we get a here we go on that soon. But I'm not concerned about Kirk's really. Like this, was it Romano? Or it might have been that interview with his dad. Said that they've or there was about 3 or 4 Premier League teams that tried to speak to him, and they've all turned and said no, he's going to Liverpool. So yeah, the whole being worried around Kirk's, I personally wouldn't be. But what else do we have? A big up Ian as well. Hope you're doing well. Would Marc Guehi accept to be third in the pecking order should Konate stay? Yeah, I think so. I think, look, of course, he'll be coming to the football club thinking he has an opportunity to displace Ibu, really. And again, let's not get this twisted. Liverpool will rotate next season. Like if we do bring in Marc Guehi, we will rotate. Last season we didn't do so much because, again, look, Liverpool, or in theory Arne Slot, didn't really rate the players that we had there, or wasn't very comfortable in allowing Jarell Quansah to play a Champions League game. That's say, I think if we do bring in Marc Guehi, you could, play Ibu Konate in the Champions League game and then play Marc Guehi in the Premier League game, and we won't be really upset then with the difference that's there. And I think that's the big difference as well with this type of signing of like, oh look, we're not going to be afraid about bringing in a player and having him, adapt and adjust. Because again, Marc Guehi is very good ball playing centre half, but it's that sense of like, I've already seen certain people say about his aerial duels and that, and it's like, well, we were about to sign, friggin' what's it called, Dean Huijsen for a ridiculous fee, which I think he had around, like, what was it, 40% was it 40% aerial duels won in the Premier League, which I just don't believe, really, anyway. But go away, Luke. It's no. I'm not even checking it either. Go away, Luke. But what else do we have? All right, thanks, man. As well, and he says, do you know potentially what we can spend in this window without being affected by PSR? If you look from The Athletic and then their report by it, was it Liverpool can spend, or Liverpool have got, was it like 70 million leeway with PSR? So whether or not that entirely means like, because again, the sale now of Jarell Quansah will also help with that. But yeah, I think Liverpool can easily spend like 300 million this summer and be completely fine. I think Liverpool, because again, we didn't spend anything last season. We didn't really do anything in the transfer window. And yeah, for me, Liverpool can easily do a 300 million pound summer. Because again, it's not like if Liverpool are buying 300 million pounds worth of players and not getting rid of any either. Like, look, if that 40 million euro, let's say it's 35 million pounds, Liverpool then have sold, we've sold Kelleher for 18 million, we've sold Quansah for 35. You've still got potentially Darwin Núñez in that list as well. I know obviously it doesn't add for PSR, but I'm talking about overall sense of things. You've got Harvey Elliott, you've got Darwin Núñez, who else could go? Andy Robertson could still go. There's so many different things involved in it, of course. So look, it'll be an interesting one, at least anyway. Go away, Luke. Yes, we did. We spent 14 million on Chiesa. That was pretty much nothing, Luke. Shut up. But sale with Quansah basically negotiates Frimpong. Well, you look at Florian Wirtz, for example. If it is the 116 million pounds, was it 136 million euros? or 136 million euros. So, we're pretty much going under 100 million euros for Florian Wirtz if you kind of work it out like that, which again is ridiculous, because to get a player of that quality for that type of price really is it's outrageous. And look, I know people straight away are like, oh, it's easy to counter as like that, but still, like, Florian Wirtz, just signing him for 116 million pounds, or potentially 116 million, it's still for me, I think it's still a bargain price. Like, and I know people go, oh well, obviously it's a world record fee, it can't be a bargain price. I think in a couple of years' time we'll be looking at it and going, no, it was a bargain price. It was a signing where, look, people be thinking like, oh, we should have paid extra for it. Similar like we did with Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, really, where on another day we would spend loads anyway. But yeah, go away, Luke. For God's sake, go and annoy fucking Ricky. Anyway, but yeah, either way, I think Marc Guehi signing will be a very good signing for Liverpool in the future. And like we are talking about Florian Wirtz, then of course Florian Wirtz is here for his medical now. This is taken from Florian Plintenberg, which, again, I do apologize for the dodgy camera video. Of course, again, I know plenty of people found it funny when, was it last year or not last year? Sorry, was it 2-3 years ago? With Sadio Mane, where he got the wrong person. And of course, Florian Plintenberg saying, the exclusive, Florian Wirtz has just arrived at Cologne airport with his family. Is now heading to England. Part one of his medical is expected to be completed later today, if possible, with the medical to be finalized on Friday. So, again, as we do think anyway, let me take that off screen a minute so I can quickly get up his other post on Florian Wirtz actually landing, of course, because many people thought he would have landed in Liverpool, but no, he did land in Manchester, as far as we know, at least anyway. Let me double check for you guys. Yeah, he did land in Manchester, as you guys can hopefully see on screen, as it says. But there, Florian Wirtz landing in Manchester at 16:42 local time, set to begin his medical later this evening. So when you look at that, again, hopefully we will have positive news tomorrow on the Florian Wirtz news, because I think everybody kind of expects Liverpool to announce him tomorrow, which I think Liverpool will do. I don't think that's out of the question, really. I do think Liverpool will announce him tomorrow. Whether or not it's going to be early in the morning or late at night, I think it will be late at night. I think we are talking about 7, 8 o'clock in the night, in my opinion. But either way, look, Florian Wirtz will be a Liverpool player tomorrow. And it would also be interesting to see what shirt number he takes tomorrow. Whether or not he does take it tomorrow is another question. But yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see what does happen with Florian Wirtz tomorrow. But again, I'm super excited to see him in a Liverpool kit. I think, sorry, Chad, my eye is absolutely itching. I think, look, he's going to be one of the best signings in the Premier League, and instantly walks into the league as one of the best players in the league. Because we're thinking the other day, wasn't we, about how, look, Liverpool have been very, not unfortunate in many years where we haven't signed, probably our top target that we've wanted. But the fact that we've got the deal done and we've managed to convince him over Manchester City and over Bayern Munich, and also, decided to get him over, his family and try and convince them as well, and over, on an overall perspective, get this deal done, I think is amazing. And massive credit has to go to obviously Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, for this deal as well. So as long as Liverpool, again, medical done tomorrow, I think that will be the, again, perfect way to announce him tomorrow anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on Florian Wirtz and Liverpool, and this Liverpool move, I should say. Anyway, sorry, chat, I'm just trying to find the thing we had for the next segment. Hang on a minute, I cannot see where I've saved it. But either way, look, let me know your guys' thoughts on, of course, the Florian Wirtz news. I think the one interesting point for him as well is the fact that a lot of German journalists did report that he was flying out tomorrow. But again, as we know, he's flown out today to get the deal done ASAP, really, which again, that's the type of things you love to see from a player that wants to really badly play for your football team as well. But Ian says Wirtz was house hunting in Cheshire rather than Merseyside or Formby. I am correct in saying he has overcome ACL earlier in his career. Yeah, he overcome two really bad knee injuries. And yeah, by the looks of things, he's completely recovered. Well, yeah, I think, was it two? He had bad knee injuries. But yeah, like I think I think it was at least two that he had. But yeah, like it's a difficult one either way, isn't it? Because with knee injuries, you have to be careful, and you do. Like there's no taking shortcuts with knee injuries, because over the years we've seen Liverpool being linked with players that, look, I think for many times Liverpool would walk away from deals because, again, the knee injury or something on the knee would come up, like not Florian Wirtz, Nabil Fekir, for example. The whole situation with his knee, having old dead cells in his knee, obviously when he had surgery, and of course that's what completely changed it. Because I think many people kind of forget as well that Liverpool renegotiated that entire deal. Like once that medical happened, Liverpool did agree another deal with Lyon to get him signed, but because of his brother wanting to renegotiate, or Liverpool wanting to renegotiate the contract talks between the personal terms for Nabil Fekir, they just decided to walk away from the deal. Which again, many people do kind of forget about that as well, which is very, very interesting anyway. But we will move on and get on to the main event then of Alexander Isak and Liverpool Football Club. Now, as it does say, but the Isak deal possible. Now, there was a report from Ben Jacobs claiming that, on a talk show anyway, that I think it was with Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook as well, saying that Liverpool are huge fans of Alexander Isak. This was Alex Cook saying this. I think this will be a difficult deal to do, but it might get easier if Newcastle win the race for João Pedro, which of course they are being linked to at the present moment in time. And just now, as we've just been live as well, of course, Redmen TV have just released something with Paul Joyce speaking on Alexander Isak, and they have said, of course, this was Paul Joyce on Alexander Isak saying there is no real pressure on Newcastle to sell for PSR reasons. I think if that was to change for whatever reason, Liverpool would make themselves in the Alexander Isak conversation. So again, that's very positive news. And of course, throughout the day and throughout, the last 2 or 3 days, the conversation around, the whole, what's the right word? Around the whole Alexander Isak and Liverpool story is the fact that Liverpool seem to believe there is a possibility of signing Alexander Isak. Now, again, Ben Jacobs, I'm reading by here now on my notes, saying that Liverpool are ready to shatter the British transfer record for a second time in quick succession, as they remain determined to sign Isak if he is genuinely available in the transfer market. And that's from Ben Jacobs as well. So, look, again, for me, there is a possibility that Liverpool do sign him, and that possibility has to take a lot of things to happen. Number one is João Pedro. I think Newcastle have to find, number one, a replacement. Now, at the present moment in time, there's talks of course, certain strikers available on the market. I wonder whether or not, if obviously we know Plan A for Liverpool is Alexander Isak. Plan B is Hugo Ekitike. I just wonder if Liverpool do get Alexander Isak and buy him for £100+ million, if Newcastle might go and get Hugo Ekitike, because, like we mentioned on previous shows, they are two very similar profiles in what they offer and what they bring. And I look at it and go, that would make so much sense for Newcastle as well. But for Liverpool, if we can't get Alexander Isak, if there's a certain, because there will be a moment where Liverpool have to kind of move on from this situation where, look, as the things right now, of course, it's way early in the transfer window. Liverpool don't have to do or make a decision as of yet. But there will be a point where Hugo Ekitike will look at another club and go, oh, I want to go and, I don't really want to wait or hang around anymore for Liverpool. Let's go and sign for someone else, for example. And that's the moment where Liverpool don't want to kind of be in, because if we wait and hang around for Alexander Isak, there is that opportunity we miss out on Ekitike, and then there's no other striker then available on the market that Liverpool look at. Like, it's quite clear Liverpool will lose Darwin Núñez this summer. There's no doubt about that. It's just the fact of we need to sign the right player. And I think they are genuinely trying to look at Alexander Isak and go, is he available? Could he be available? And I think if Newcastle do say, look, we would accept, or we would, be in the conversation at around 120, 130 million pounds, I think Liverpool would be in that conversation as well. I really do. Whether or not, again, that does happen this summer or next summer, I think, if I'm being realistic, I think it will happen next summer. But that's just me being very cautious. I think Liverpool, realistically, they would love to go on and buy him now and do the deal now. But I don't know. I think it's going to need to take a lot of convincing. And I also think it's going to need a lot to realistically not persuade, but try and get Alexander Isak to push his way out of Newcastle as well. That's what I would say, at least, anyway. But again, I think it's a very open conversation, isn't it, at the moment, to see what does happen. But we have to make sure Wirtz don't play against Everton, as their players love taking out our players at the knee. Yeah, absolutely. Tafsa as well. But to be fair, in saying that, Wirtz does have a nasty side to him, which I like from a player. We've seen that for Germany, and if he's doing that for Germany, imagine what he's doing after a couple of months at Liverpool. So look, that's something to be positive about anyway. But look, for me, I think Liverpool, if Alexander Isak is possibly available for any price, I think we will have a go. I'm pushed for the move, but again, what's the price point? What are we talking about? I think we are looking minimum 130, and whether or not we do that, again, it's another question in itself. But look, the only other problem as well is the fact that we don't have, like, I say we don't have a plan B, but we do have a plan B. It's Hugo Ekitike. But it's not like if it's cheap either. Like, we're talking about a player that's going to minimally cost, what, £85 million or £80 million. So again, Liverpool have to get it right, because we can't have another Darwin Núñez where, look, potential-wise, he looks unbelievable. But to go on and on an overall perspective, we're sat here again in 2-3 years' time going, yeah, the move didn't really work out. Again, that's really unaffordable then for Liverpool to happen anyway. But yes, I am still on, Luke. Go away. Luke, if you comment again, I'm gonna time you out. That's what I'm gonna do tonight, just for the fun of it. But okay, Luke, he's gonna comment again. I know he is. I'm gonna time Luke out, which will be funny. But there we go. Mbappe got discharged from hospital as well. But is that a Crystal Palace journo? No, it is not. It is a Liverpool journo. Speaking of Marc Guehi, which, again, it's not really new news for you guys. But again, I was kind of like shocked. And I was like, oh, is that actual new news? It's like, no, it's not. It's new. It's old news for Marc Guehi anyway. But even still, look, I think Marc Guehi would be a really good signing for Liverpool. And I also think, Luke, I'm timing you out. Wait there, I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to ban you. There we go. Go away, Luke. But that'll be funny when everyone else I speak to you in a minute. But yeah, look, on the Alexander Isak stuff, I think, look, if there's a chance, Liverpool will sign him. Absolutely. Anyway, but look, I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed tonight's show. What is it tomorrow? We will be live tomorrow, waiting for the Florian Wirtz news. Again, if it comes up that he signed, brilliant, we'll be live for it tomorrow anyway, because it is Friday tomorrow. Yeah, it is Friday tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully we will be back tomorrow with another episode talking about Florian Wirtz getting signed in a Liverpool shirt anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts on Quansah, obviously Marc Guehi, Wirtz getting his medical done, and of course Alexander Isak. Be very intrigued to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. But I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.